everybody, this is Alex, and I'm here to talk to you today about the Destiny weapon tuning for the Rise of Iron. There's a lot of stuff. I'm going to try to go as fast as I can. Let's go. Fabian strategy, buff. I like it. Getting a portion of the magazine back when you get a kill is going to really help this weapon be effective. Increased base range and stability, also going to really help it be effective, make sure you can land those shots. Thorn Nerf. This is fine. The problem, it's going to bring it closer into line with the other hand cannons. The problem is not this nerf, but the fact that the basic shot registration of hand cannons is bad. And so they all need a range nerf or a better shot registration, something. It's very annoying to have your aim correct and have no hit result. Universal result, universal remote. This is a fine change. I do think it means you're gonna have to close the range. It's gonna encourage camping as opposed to trying to close the range, and so I don't like that. But it's not that big a deal. I got killed by secondary shotguns a lot more than universal remote. Dreg's Promise. Touch of Malice. I don't think they needed to make this change. I think they could have just left this alone and made it the enemies more mobile, more so that you couldn't just stay anchored to a bubble and come out and shoot them. And I think that taking away this synergy is really punishing players who have worked to acquire this. Boolean Gemini. This will help the weapon. It's still not going to ever be one of my favorites. I don't like the scope. No time to explain. It's nice to get a buff, but this is not a buff that I'm going to use a lot. Mostly you use No Time to Explain to laser in on a boss's head. You don't want to, aim at the body suddenly. That's going to reduce your damage output. Just stay on the head. But if your aim is not true when you're coming on target, this is going to help. Sniper rifles. These received a minor nerf to damage, which I disagree with. And the target acquisition for the longbow was brought in line with other snipers in the same family. But these are weapons that people chased, LDR and longbow. I really think that they should have rewarded us by maybe buffing the entire archetype's aim assist just a little bit. So that, it kind of minimized the nerf that they're doing to those specific highly sought after weapons. Aim deflection. This is a great change. It's going to make it a lot easier to counter snipe, so that should be a boon. It's promoting counterplay. I agree with it. Auto rifles. There's a nerf to the Doctrine of Passing magazine size, and they buffed the Hakon's Hatchet Monte Carlo damage auto rifles. The auto rifles that needed the most love, though, aren't mentioned. We needed more love on the high impact, low rate of fire auto rifles like Soros Regime and Shadow Price. Shotguns. These are actually buffs. The decreased spread makes it a little bit more shot packagey, so that'll be good, and it's a minor buff to rate of fire to make the middle and high rate of fire shotguns a little bit better choices. Sorry, it's not a buff to the rate of fire, it's a buff to the damage. Pulse rifles. This Nerwin's Mercy change is excellent. This change to the Ludmila D is oddly specific. I think that entire archetype needed a change, not just that weapon. Sidearms. The big change here, the big news, is that there's going to be a bonus in PvE 20 to 30%. It's going to make it a really excellent choice for the heroic strike caliber lists. So there's some bug fixes to how things look, and the minor damage buff to Hake sidearms overall, not just in PvE. Good choice. Cluster bombs getting a buff. Grenades and horseshoes getting a nerf. I don't think grenades and horseshoes needed any nerf. Cluster bombs did need a buff. The reason grenades and horseshoes has become the mandatory choice is because cluster bombs were weak and tracking was nerfed. So I would prefer to see more from the other perks rather than taking away anything from grenades and horseshoes. Machine guns. Minor buff to the highest rate of fire. Machine guns 4% should be a big help. Maybe people will choose those. Hand cannons. No real buffs or nerfs. They just bug fixes. I think they needed either a buff to aim assist or a buff to range. Something to fix those ghost bullets. Fusion rifles. Again, bug fixes. No problem. Most of these perks are great. They just are minor buffs. The keys are going to be Cascade. Now automatically reloads a portion of the magazine as opposed to having a chance. Surplus increases your carry to ammo capacity. That's important. Guerrilla Fighter. The problem with this perk is that there's no feedback on when you're actually in cover. So a buff is good, but you got to figure out, you got to make it more apparent when you're in cover or what cover is. Magazine perks. I think that we're going to have a lot of pressure on our ammo stores, so these magazine perks are going to be a welcome. Unflinching. I disagree with this change. I like the change that increased flinch earlier, but I think that decreasing unflinching in conjunction with increasing flinch is too much. They probably could have left this change off and just issued it in a later patch if it proved through play to be not enough to increase flinch alone. Bug fix for Firefly. That's it. That's all for the weapons update preview, and that's it for me for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope this helps. The link to this Bungie article will be on the description below, so please check that out in more detail, and I will see you Starside Guardians.